Background of the Egypt. In the Mediterranean world, ancient Egypt was the most powerful civilization. From the old kingdom's towering pyramids to the new kingdom's military victories, Egypt's magnificence has captivated archaeologists and historians for centuries, spawning a thriving area of study called Egyptology. The various monuments, items, and artifacts that have been found from the archaeological sites covered with hieroglyphs that have just lately been deciphered are the principal sources of the knowledge about the ancient Egypt. The image that emerged is of a society with few peers in terms of the beauty of its art, the craftsmanship of its building, and the diversity of its religious traditions. Demographics of Egypt. Egypt's ethnic Egyptians make up 91% of the country's overall population. The Turks, Greeks, Abkhaz, and Bedouin Arab tribes in the Sinai Peninsula and the deserts to the east, as well as Siwis in the Siwa Oasis and the Nubian people along the Nile are the main ethnic minority. The official language is Arabic, but English and French are also commonly spoken and understood by the upper classes. According to the International Organization for Migration, there are around 2.7 million Egyptians residing abroad. Arab nations such as Saudi Arabia, Libya, Jordan, and Kuwait, where 70% of Egyptian immigrants live, are among them. The remaining 30% of the population live in Europe and North America. Ethnic Egyptians make up the majority of Egypt's population, accounting for 91%.
Next is population. As of January 1, 2021, the aggregate Egyptian population was estimated at 101.48 million inhabitants. The capital city of Cairo was the most populated area in the country with 10.3 million people living there. Egypt has a population of about 102 million people according to current projection. Egypt's population is expected to double by 2078. The population is currently growing at a rate of 1.94%, a rate that adds about 2 million people to the population every year. Egypt's fertility rate is about 3.3 births per woman, well above the population replacement rate of 2.1 births per woman. Egypt has a relatively young population, where about 60% of the population is under 30 years old.
The energy industry is Egypt's top foreign exchange earner. Egypt is one of Africa's biggest economies. However, distribution of wealth in the country is a pressing issue, with 26% of Egyptians living below the poverty line. The official currency used in the country is the Egyptian pound. Annual exports from the country, with the primary export commodities being petroleum products and crude oil, chemicals, and textiles. On the other hand, the country's annual import with foodstuff, machinery, and equipment being the main import goods. The leading industries in the country are the agricultural, energy, and tourism industries. Egypt's largest trade partners for export were the United States, the United Arab Emirates, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Italy, while China, United States, Saudi Arabia, Germany, and Turkey were important trading partners for import.
Festival. Sham al-Nasam, which literally means smelling the breeze, is an ancient Egyptian spring festival celebrating the renewal of life and hope. The original festival name Shamo means renewal of life in ancient Egyptian language, and it is believed to be the first city ever celebrated. It dates back roughly 5,000 years and came to be during the third dynasty of the Old Kingdom in Heliopolis, which is City of the Sun. Another big part of the celebration is food: colored balls, egg, salted smoked fish, green onions, and lettuce, each with a symbolic meaning. Eggs symbolize the beginning of creation. Ancient Egyptian paints egg and wrote their wishes and prayers on them and hung them on the trees and temple the night before the festival. The next day they would break the eggs, so all their wishes would come true, and their leaf would be fish symbolize life development, goodness, and welfare. Green onion to drive out evil spirits. Lettuce symbolize hope and the beginning of spring. To this day, Egyptians celebrate Sham al-Nasim in nearly the same way their ancestors used to be celebrated.
Today I want to talk about the education of Egypt. First of all, the public education system in Egypt consists of 3 levels. The basic education stage for 4 until 14 years old, kindergarten for 2 years, followed by primary schools for 6 years, and preparatory schools ISCED level 2 for 3 years. Alright. Next, then the secondary school ISCED level 3 stage is for 3 years for age 15 to 17 years old, followed by the tertiary level education is made compulsory for 9 academic years between the age of 4 and 14. Moreover, all levels of education are free within any government-run schools. According to the World Bank, there are great difference in the education attainment of the rich and the poor, also known as the wealth gap. Although the median years of school complete by the rich and the poor is only 1 or 2 years, but the wealth gap reached as high as 9 of 10 years. In the case of Egypt, the wealth gap was a modest 3 years in the mid-1990s. Currency of Egypt. The Egyptian pound was also used in Anglo-Egyptian Sudan between 1899 and 1956, and Cyrenaica when it was under British occupation, and later an independent Emirates between 1942 and 1951. It also circulated in the Mediterranean Palestine from 1918 to 1927, when the Palestine pound was introduced, equal in value to the pound sterling. The National Bank of Egypt issued banknotes for the first time on 3 April 1899. The Central Bank of Egypt and the National Bank of Egypt were unfiled into the Central Bank of Egypt in 1900 MGT361. Culture of Egypt. It came to the Egypt in the 7th country and is the formal and official language of the state, which is used by the government and newspapers. Meanwhile, the Egyptian Arabic dialect of Masri is the official spoken language of the people.
Writing and reciting Quran. The phenomenon of Islam and Arabic has united in the death of the Egyptian nation. So don't be surprised if it turns out that their lives are filled with Islamic colors. For example, the strength of the Al-Quran, which are lively tuned in the many places, ranging from supermarkets, shops to public vehicle, as well as the writings of the verses of the Quran, hadith and remembrance that decorate their treasury. The writings of Salawat and La Tansa Zikrullah are the most popular I have seen. So don't disrespect the writing of the Quran and do just hear and don't complain it.
The third culture in Egypt is Maidatur Rahman. In Egypt, there is a beautiful thing when the moment of Ramadan is Maidatur Rahman or free iftar meal. All elements of society have the right to enjoy the menu they call the divine dish. The menus provided are also special, from dates, bread to meat and other side dishes. The thing is, we don't do it refusing to accept offer from people. What we should do is join them to eat together, because it's not really easy to get a free food. There's so many menus, and we should be grateful is they offered the food to us.
In culture, firstly, greet people whether known or not. What the things we must don't do is ignore the greeting as sign of respect. And what the thing we must do? Answer back to the people who greet you. Okay, that's all from me. Bye.